Yo, what is good, everybody? We got some new Datamine cards in today's patch, and they are the most exciting ones. I am so freaking fired up about the future of this game with these cards. I know that right away I'm thinking, man, it sucks that these fun cards are going to cost 6k tokens. I'm not going to ignore that fact. Unfortunately, we can't change anything about that. I hope by the time that these come out, that the cards are much more affordable and accessible to all of the player base. I genuinely hope that, but that just isn't the case right now. But we can still get excited about these cards, right? Because, in 5 months we'll be able to play with them, whatever. It's fun to talk about. It's fun to talk about how they're going to affect the meta and maybe create decks of their own. That's what we got here today. Some crazy cards. The star ratings are through the roof. So if you don't want spoilers, turn away now. We're going to be talking about some upcoming cards. Now, they might not even be released in their final form as we see them today. I think some of them we will, because there's a lot of, as you can see with the backsplash, there's a lot of Guardians of the Galaxy theme. That movie's coming out in May. We definitely know for sure that package is coming May. In fact, spoiler alert, I guess already, I got a bit of deets on that. Okay, so we're going to cover bundles as well that are going to be coming up in the upcoming month, as well as 4 Datamine cards, and one is just absolutely crazy. So many crazy implications. So if you don't like spoilers, turn away. I also got 2 cards right here that I haven't seen people talking about, but holy smokes, it's new characters. We don't have power, energy, or effects, so it doesn't really mean anything, but 2 characters that will be joining Snap at some point, I'm sure, because they have variants and everything. And if you didn't want spoilers, you're going to find out what those are right now. Boom, it's Spider-Man 2099 and Spider-Ham. Now, I made a video a while ago about when the Spider-Verse comes out. They're probably going to do a season, and I had this guy almost looking exactly like that with that text, Spider-Man 2099, and I'm pretty fired up to see both of these cards. Spider-Ham, hilarious, so funny. I hope he's hammering people in the head, bonk. And then Spider-Man 2099 is so cool. I love that we're getting more Spider characters. I would love to someday make a Spider deck. I think that's pretty epic. We're getting there. We're certainly close to like 50%. Anyways, those look pretty awesome. I will cover those later, so subscribe to stay tuned to the channel for Datamine, Snap Science, and all that good stuff. But let's get to the Datamine cards. High Evolutionary. Dude, check this card out. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. This is a Drewberry card if I've ever seen it. I am so fired up. This is so fun. I can't wait. This is a guarantee buy. This is a guarantee buy. Other cards I've said like, oh yeah, I really want to get that on pickup, but then when like push comes to shove, I'm like, my tokens, no, I don't know if I want to spend it. This one, not even a second thought. I'm not even second guessing this one. I don't even care if it's good or not. This is fire. Okay, so High Evolutionary. And by the way, this is the most made custom card. And like of all the videos I do, they're always a High Evolutionary card. So it's kind of cool to see it actually in Snap. 4/7. Not a good stat line, doesn't matter. At the start of the game, similar to good old Thanos boy, unlock the secret ability of all your cards with no abilities. Yes, I'm so excited about this. So I'm really excited because I have been, talking about for so long that cards with no abilities should have more support. Everybody looks at Cyclops and the Thing and Abomination and say, those cards are trash. Why would you run them? Even in a Patriot deck, they end up getting cut. And we had Patriot, he was doing all the hard work. He was doing all that heavy lifting for the no ability cards. He was trying to carry them like through ranked matches. If you didn't draw Patriot, then your no ability deck wasn't doing a whole lot besides maybe tempo. Well, now you can do something different. Now you can't put them together. You can't use Patriot and High Evolutionary. It's not going to work because Patriot wants the cards to have no abilities. High Evolutionary says your cards are going to have abilities no matter what. I'm going to give them secret abilities, which I just think is sick. So you get to make use of your Hulk and your Abomination and Thing and all that stuff. You actually get to use those cards, and they have crazy abilities. Let's check those out. All right, so here is all of the cards that are getting affected, right? As you might imagine, it goes from 0 all the way to 6. So Wasp to Hulk. So here's the secret ability. On reveal, afflict 2 random enemy cards here with -1 power. Negative power. So there's a few trends here, a few themes: negative power, unspent energy, and on reveals. Those are the 3 that I identified as possible themes that you can build your deck. Because the way I see this playing out is you don't just shove these all in the same deck. I'm going to do it, but you shouldn't do it, right? You want to just pick a few that synergize with some other combination cards, right? So all this negative power, maybe you throw in Hazmat and Luke Cage to like protect yourself. But a lot of it's targeted to the enemies with Wasp here. Okay, another one, Misty Knight. When you end a turn with unspent energy, give another friendly card +1 power. I think this is actually maybe one of the weaker ones because you have to, sacrifice energy and that converts to power, which you can give a little bit out. It's not quite as good as like Sunspot getting buffed like crazy, right? But maybe there's a world where you want to play like Sunspot and Misty Knight earlier, and then you just pass a bunch of turns. They buff quite a bit. Sunspot gets huge, and then you do something on turn 6, like with your Infinite. I don't know. Maybe there's something there, okay? But there's more, okay? Cyclops, 3/4. When you end a turn here with unspent energy, afflict 2 random enemies here with -1 power. So that's kind of one where it kind of like dips in both. You could use it in both scenarios, right? But I still feel like that's maybe a little bit too weak. The way I'm interpreting the text as well is that it afflicts 2 random enemies with -1 power, right? So there has to be 2. If there's only 1, it's not going to get hit twice, right? There has to be 2, and it's going to hit -1 on each. Okay, so not the best, but pretty neat. Okay, the thing. On reveal, afflict a random enemy card here with -1 power. Repeat this twice more. So the reason I clarified that the Cyclops works that way is because the thing works this way. And I think with this line of text, we're talking about if there's only 1 card, it's going to repeat and hit it with -3. So that's pretty good. You end up with a 4/9 in value, and you kind of hit a few of your triggers for negative power, which is going to have implications on the next 2 cards. You see, Abomination and Hulk are kind of the finishers to these 2 strategies. So we have Abomination, costs 1 less for each enemy card in play that's afflicted with negative power. Dude, that's so crazy. That's so crazy to me. He only costs 5. You only need to hit 5 cards with negative power. Now, individually, it can't be 1 card hit multiple times. That's only going to trigger once, right? You have to have multiple cards on the other side. But I'm talking, you play Debris and you play Hazmat, and then like condition pretty well met. Your opponent's probably played a couple cards. I don't think that's hard to make at all. A 0/9, and then you'd like double it with Moon Girl or whatever else on your later turns. It could get absolutely crazy. Abomination with High Evolutionary just became like one of the best cards. It's unreal. Okay, let's continue though. We also have the Hulk, ongoing, +2 power for each turn you ended with unspent energy. So Hulk is growing in power. Finally, Hulk is like getting, the size and the respect that he demands. But the thing is, you have to have turns with unspent energy. I don't know how much is going to be worth. This could exceed Infinite. If you play Sunspot on 1 and then you pass on 2, 3, 4, and 5, right? 2, 3, 4, 5. That is 8 bonus power. That is infinite levels of power. Okay, so now you have a Hulk that's a 620, doesn't need the turn 5 to be passed. And mind you, I said pass, but you don't have to pass the entire turn. You just got to make sure there's unspent energy. And then Hulk becomes an Infinite. Maybe even do it on turn 1 somehow, and you have even better. You have a 622 coming out. That'd be wild, right? Ongoing as well. Maybe you want to use that with Onslaught somehow. You cheat it out. I don't know. It's ongoing as well. So you can cheat out Hulk, and then he's going to continue to grow in value. So maybe there's just some crazy things here. I guess another thing would be like Mystique value. And oh my gosh, there's so much to think about. Now, while I am so excited about this, those are the cards, right? Those are the secret abilities. Let's minimize that for a second here. So while I'm talking about this, I also have to bring up the downside to High Evolutionary, right? It's not all happy days, because High Evolutionary himself is a pretty bad card. It's a 4/7. You never really want to play that. And if you draw it, then that sucks, because you wanted to draw those cards with secret abilities or combination cards like Hazmat, Luke Cage, Wong, another one for those on reveals, Sunspot for the unspent energy, like these combination cards. So you're kind of clogging up your deck for that at the start of the game effect. It's not even quite like Thanos, because Thanos is a good turn 6 play. High Evolutionary is almost never a good play on his own right. So I feel like that's the trade-off in this card. But man, talk about a deck builder. Talk about an absolute archetype builder. You know what I'm saying? Like High Evolutionary is doing it on his own. He's making new abilities, his secret abilities, turning no abilities into abilities. He's doing it all. I'm fired up, and the variants are absolutely sick. Okay, that's only one. That was the biggest one we had to talk about. Let's get to the others. Howard the Duck. Oh my gosh, dude, this card is absolutely quacked. I hope you appreciated that pun. But seriously, it's insane. This card is insane. It's 5 stars in my mind, like no matter what. This is the most broken card I feel like I've seen in all of the Datamines. I can't believe they did this. And maybe I'm overreacting slightly, but let's just break down some of the scenarios here, okay? Howard is a 1/2. That's a normal stat line for a 1-drop. Great, fantastic, okay? Ongoing, tap this to see the top card of your deck. What? You're telling me that I can click the card on the field and I know what I'm going to draw every single turn? I just got to click the duck and then I'm going to know what I'm drawing? The information is unreal. I mean, put it this way as well. You're going to draw it anyways. So whatever, but I get to know what I want to play. Like maybe I have something in hand. It's a bit awkward. I don't know if I want to play it or not. Well, maybe I'll top deck something next turn and I'll rather play that next turn or something along those lines. Maybe I could play this card I have in my hand right now on turn 3, let's say. But I'm a little bit concerned that what if next turn, I draw something and then I can't play it and I could have just waited. Well, now I'm going to know that, oh, it's a 6-drop I'm about to draw. So I don't have a play next turn either. I can just pass and go for the next turn. Something along those lines. Like there's so much information to be had here. But even more importantly, turn 6, the final turn, I get to know what I'm going to draw. Or my opponent snaps on me. I get to know what I'm about to draw. Like it just be like, oh, you're going to snap on me, but I get a little bit of info into the future of this game. I'm going to know how it plays out. I get to know if I want to retreat or not. This is the kind of information that I appreciate more than Kang because there's nothing my opponent can really do about it. I just get info all day. So I think this card is sick. Not to mention, it's not a dead card in the late game. A lot of the 1-drops maybe fall off. And Howard is probably the worst, draw on turn 6, but whatever, like that's like a lot of 1-drops. If you draw them on turn 5, still amazing value if you're able to play it because then you can see what the card is. Now, I guess that wouldn't quite work now, would it? Now let me pedal back because you have to tap on it. We haven't seen this before. It's an actual mechanic where you tap on the card to see what you're about to draw. So I imagine if you play it, can you actually tap Howard that very same turn? I'm going to go ahead and say no for balance purposes. So that means that you have to get him out on 4 to know what you're going to draw on 6, right? Because you can tap the duck on 5. Okay, so I don't even care, dude. That doesn't change my opinion of this card at all. I still think it's 5 stars. Absolutely insane. Amazing variants. Cool style character, works with like Daredevil because like what if it's turn 4? I want to know what I'm going to draw on turn 5 for that Daredevil play to see if I can actually do a counter or have a sweet play. So that's great. Works with Mr. Negative. When is he going to come out of the deck? And what am I going to draw after I negatize things? Information. Fantastic. How about Sarah? You play Sarah and you want to know what you're going to draw so you can calculate your turn on turn 6 with that final turn to know like how you're going to allocate your mana and which cards you're going to play. It's fantastic. Maybe you choose not to play Sarah because what you're going to draw is kind of lackluster and you already have the available mana or energy rather to play the cards next turn. It's crazy. Dude, this card is so wild. I love it. Which actually leads us right into our next card. It's Iron Lad. Okay, so this is actually a variant of Kang in like a different universe. I didn't really know. I thought it had more association with Iron Man and maybe, I don't know the lore exactly, but I thought it was pretty cool. But it looks a lot like Iron Man and the I don't know, the art style kind of throws me off. But we are starting, kind of like we have all the Spider characters, we're starting to have a lot of the Iron Crew, which is kind of neat. You have Iron Man, Iron Heart, Iron Lad, let's go. And Rescue, like a whole bunch. Okay, so what is Iron Lad? A 4/6, not a good stat line. On reveal, copy the text of your deck's top card. Well, wow, doesn't that have good synergy with Howard? Because you get to know exactly what you're going to copy. And then you could just hold Iron Lad in hand until the card on the top, because you keep tapping the duck, you know what you're going to copy, and then you play Iron Lad when you want to copy that crazy effect, like Iron Man, which becomes a 4/12, buffing the entire location. Absolutely insane, right? So in that scenario, it's pretty good. With Howard, it's very good. Without, I don't know. I don't know if I actually love it that much. I guess you could run a deck where it's just high value abilities, right? I don't really know what that would end up looking like, but I suppose it could be pretty good. It could be like Daredevil, right? You copy Daredevil's effect and then you get Daredevil without actually having drawn him yet, or maybe you don't have the right turn, you don't play him at the right time. It could be like Luke Cage, maybe if you didn't draw Luke Cage, but you're always going to draw that card next. So it has to be an ability that you want to double, and I just don't quite know yet. Like maybe even White Tiger getting another Tiger out. There's a lot of combinations. Like, I mean, any ability that you're pretty fired up about that you build your deck around that you want to use, then maybe it's okay. These 3 I thought of were like kind of decent, but also maybe a little bit lackluster. I don't know. But Howard the Duck just seems like ultimate synergies here. That's why I'm only giving Iron Lad 3 stars. I feel like in some games you might rely on it and it kind of whiffs, and then that's a bit of a bummer. But if you're running Howard and Iron Lad, it's going to be crazy, and I'll probably boost the star rating once I know when these cards are actually coming out, because if Howard comes out before, then Iron Lad just gets extra value, and then that's just it. I'm sold. All right, and the last one that we have here is a card I actually just recently talked about like a few days ago, but the ability completely changed. That's why when you watch these Datamine videos, we can speculate, we can have fun with it, but don't take it to heart because the card can change until it's officially announced, right? But it seems like this will actually be Nebula, but I'm not sure of the energy cost or the power total, which you'll find out soon. We have details on the May season pass, and it shows a different stat line. It shows a 4/6 on Nebula, and the ability makes me think it could go either way. I actually think it's really good why I'm giving it 4 stars with the 1/1 stat line, which seems to be the leading belief of that's what her ability is going to be, but or stat line rather, but we'll see. Time will tell, okay? So 1/1 or 4/6, each turn your opponent doesn't play a card here +2 power, except the turn you play this. So if it was a 4/6, that's only 2 turns possible, but then it becomes a 4/10, and we know Team Second Dinner likes that stat line. You know, you can look at cards, I guess Namor gets a little bit above there, but like that kind of range, right? Or Atuma or stuff like that, okay? So that could work. But maybe the 1/1 stat line is pretty realistic as well, because you play it fairly early and then you just kind of force your opponent to play cards there. I mean, they can only play 3 cards there. Maybe they're running Destroy and they're actually able to do it. But it's almost like this little mind game of like, I'm forcing you to play cards there because it's just going to grow in power if you do not. It's almost like a trap. I think Killmonger, just comes online is so good. It's similar to Sunspot, where people run Sunspot so much because it grows in power, and then your opponent kind of has to deal with that location. They have to match it somehow. But then it also opens up for this big swing for your opponent to play Killmonger on 6, and you lose all of that power that you've been building up. Nebula gives me those vibes, but Sunspot is still one of the more played 1-drops despite that being a big swing. So I could see Nebula being run in place of Sunspot, maybe in more of a control or tempo style deck where you actually want to play out your curve, but you want to, kind of disguise where you're allocating your resources, or at least get your opponent to think that, that location is a problem. You must deal with it. You must put power there, when really I'm just leaving Nebula there to force you to play cards. I'm going to do other things. I'm going to play like Professor X or whatever. I'm going to stack up a bunch of locations, play Professor X and win another location, and I'm fine. So, and then you could always armor to protect Nebula. So really cool card. I like this change from what it used to be. It was like an on reveal. You get +2 power if you hit the card similar to Guardians of the Galaxy, and then it bounces back to the hand. I like that as well. But this one actually still works with the Guardians, right? Because if you're forcing your opponent to play cards there, right? Maybe you play the Guardians there because you snipe them, and it's just kind of like, gotcha, tricked you. Or maybe we play Spider-Man to guarantee your opponent can't play a card there, and then you get +2 power. Or maybe Cloak. I was thinking a move deck, it might be good, right? Because movement happens before the play phase, so I think actually the movement could dodge a card being played there, and then you get +2 power if you baited your opponent into it. That might be a possibility as well. And then Negasonic Teenage Warhead, the card that I just got, and I can't wait to show you guys, could work really well. She's actually a 3/4. That's a bit of a typo. But you play Nebula there, then you play Negasonic, and your opponent wants to play a card there so that Nebula is not getting buffed, but it will get destroyed by Negasonic Teenage Warhead. So a sneaky little play there. I'm pretty excited about Nebula. We're going to get her in the May season pass. It seems like she is actually going to be the season pass card, but I still don't have confirmation on it being a 1/1 or a 4/6. If you know, let me know in the comments below. I would love to have that confirmed. And then also Evolutionary seems to be the big bad villain in Guardians of the Galaxy 3, so I think these two are both going to be coming in May, so I'm pretty excited about that. The other cards, who knows? I don't really see them working in the next season or the May season, so it might be the season following that, right? It seems like these Datamine cards are starting to get reduced almost. Like they're only showing what's coming up in like a 3-month range. So that kind of gives us a nice little idea that they're going to be coming relatively soon. But let's talk about some Datamine bundles. All right, so check it out. This is going to be the May season pass. So as you can see, Nebula seems to be the featured card. We have a pretty good set of variants here, in my opinion. The Nebula variant is probably my favorite out of all the Datamine ones. I like the baby one, but this one, so good with like the the wires coming out of her and everything like that. And then you got the Star-Lord, which looks like a retro Star-Lord. The Gamora with the universe in the background looks so good in her sword. She always has such good variants. So yeah, I was pretty excited to see all of this. Also the card backs, unreal. Oh my gosh, the cassette tape is so good. The Star-Lord cassette tape. I don't know if I can use any other card back. If that ends up being the Infinite one, it's got like a gold trim, I'm done. That's too much for me. I just got the X one and I'm fired up about that. But both of these look so good, like the Star-Lord and the Gamora. Goodness me, so good. I can't wait for this. So this is going to be May with the Guardians of the Galaxy movie. Very, very much so hyped for that. That's probably one of my favorite parts of Marvel is the Guardians of the Galaxy. So I'm excited. Good. So we have this one, which is pretty interesting. Also, Token Tuesdays are extended until May. That's pretty nice. By the way, this is on Snap.fan. Go check them out. Fantastic resource for all of the Datamine stuff. And then we got Throg. Dude, Throg. Everyone thought he was going to be a card, and it's almost kind of sad to see him not be a card. But there you go. Throg is going to be a bundle. It's going to cost 7,000 gold, but you get 7,000 credits and 3,000 tokens. I don't know what the value is there. It actually kind of seems nice, but that's a crazy amount of gold to save up, like for one variant and a few resources. So don't know how I'm feeling about that, but 3,000 tokens is no joke, and 7,000 credits is a lot. So I don't know, but that's a high price tag, man. Too much. Okay, what about the Avengers? Oh my gosh. Oh my goodness. They made Captain America into a furry, and they got Mr. Fantastic. He's a balloon moose, and Ant-Man's got a cookie. Oh my goodness. I don't know what's going on here, but it's pretty funny. Honestly, I thought this was going to be like a April Fool's thing, but it ends up being on April 8th. That one's going to be coming out $5 for 3 variants. That is pretty good, but it ultimately is only cosmetic, so that is probably a pass for me. But then we have a Dan Hip bundle. Oh my gosh, I love the Dan Hips, and the Devil Dino one is so good. I really like that dino, and the Moon Girl is pretty good as well. A great package. You even get some credits out of it, but it does cost 2,900 gold for mostly cosmetic stuff, so we will see. I don't know if I'll pull the trigger, but I really want that Devil Dino variant. Oh my gosh. Okay, and then we also got Earth 616 Day. It's going to cost you $10, and it's almost cosmetic purely. You got 400 gold, 400 credits for 2 variants. Honestly, I don't like that Hela one at all. She's like gardening. Okay, that's cool. I got the Venomized one. Easy pass for me. And then the Baby Groot, man. So good. But probably a pass. You can't buy it with gold. Whatever. Okay, then we got the tokens, right? So this one's pretty crazy. Squirrel Girl, and it's going to be 4,500 tokens. That's wild. I think that might be the most tokens we've seen in a bundle yet, but it is going to cost you an arm and a leg and 5,000 gold. Dude, it's pretty expensive. Let's not beat around the bush here. Like to get to these gold totals, and if you were getting every single bundle, that's expensive. You probably got nothing left in the bank. So I don't know how I feel about that. I like the Token Tuesdays, which are coming up right here, where they're a little bit more affordable. 850 gold for 800 tokens, right? 650 gold for 600 tokens. 450 gold for 400 tokens. That seems to be the price tag that they're running with as it continues, as we go down. It's running through May. It's fantastic. It's just the same thing. 450 gold, 400 tokens, and boosters. Boosters I don't really care about, right? And then we have a bunch of crazy variants. Don't worry about these. I'm going to show you guys these soon, but it is pretty exciting. I will leave you guys with this leader one though. Oh my gosh, this leader one is so funny. It made me laugh. If only the card was decent and not completely dead. But wow, well done, Dan Hip. So there you go. Those are the bundles. Those are the Datamine cards. Tell me what you're excited about. I am fired about so much. I'm so excited about so many of this stuff. It gets me every time. I get so amped about this game. We have our highs and lows and a lot of things right now with the token shop, the balance changes, but I still see such a bright future. There's so many good things, so many things to be excited about in this game, so I can't wait for it all of it. Anyways, thank you so much for watching, everybody, and I'll catch you guys next time.